Okay, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, everybody out there. So usually a lot of people usually ask, they see me post these videos and I leave out details on how to set the timing belts on and everything. Okay, so usually if you don't know how to set up the timing belt or you don't know the marks, you can just about Google anything, or unless you get all data, you want to make sure that you have the correct information and all the marks are aligned correctly. So on this particular application, on the Myler or the Mazda Millennium 2.3 supercharged motor, I got all the new components on. I replaced the worn out bearings. What had happened is these are plastic idlers, and one of them had come apart, and that's what was causing our problem through the transmission into safe mode. So over here, okay, let's get onto these marks. Okay, so usually there's marks on a timing cover, valve cover, or you name it, that tells you where top dead center. Top dead center is when the piston is at top dead center. So why is this important? If you don't have the timing right, and that piston comes up, the number one piston comes up, or one of the other pistons come up, it could smack and bend the valve. So you want to be very, very careful that you don't do that. As you see here, it's on the left camshaft pulley here. It's got a yellow mark here. That on this particular application, it lines up. There's a little notch right there. As you can see, those line up together on that one. So everything's got to be perfectly in line. And a little harder to see on this back side. Let's see if I can get an angle of it from somewhere. Okay, on this back side there is a mark right there. There's a little mark. I'm not gonna really zoom in on it or anything. So there's a little mark right there, and on the edge of there, let me see. Okay, on the edge of the pulley where that mark is at, I can't really get that angle to show you. A few things in the way. There you go. So there's a yellow dot right there. That yellow dot, it aligns with the mark that's over here on the back of the valve cover. It's like a little point. So that's how you line up the cams on this 2.3 Mazda motor. On the bottom there, on the crank, let's see if I can catch that angle down there. Okay, down there on the crank, there's a white dot. See that white dot right there? Where my finger's pointing at? Well, I have a white dot there. There's a little dowel pin that points out of there. There's a keyway on the crank that needs to be pointed straight up and aligned with the mark that's on the back of the cover there. I don't know if I can get that angle for you just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see. Very, very difficult. Of course, I'm using my phone. Let's see what we got here. So hopefully my phone is catching all this information. There's a little mark right back here. There's a little point right there. A little mark that aligns. So that's actually the timing mark right there that aligns with the dowel pin and the crank right there. It's probably got it up close and personal. I'm going to go past there. I can't really see what I'm aiming the camera at. I just know it's there somewhere. Let's see. Okay, there you go. See the dowel pin there? Dowel pin, and I have a white mark on there, and then there's a little triangle looking deal. Those line up together. That tells you your number one piston's on top dead center. Now, at any point that you should always rotate it by hand. So if any point that it hangs up, you want to make sure you're going in the right direction. You can either reverse the crank to get your mark lined up. The reason it's so important to replace your timing belts at most of them are about 90,000 to 100,000 miles is because if they break, there's a non-interference motor and an interference motor. Interference means that there's not enough clearance in the valves that, if the piston comes up, it's going to hit those valves, bend the valves and do extensive damage to your motor. And That's why you want to be real careful with the timing and be 100% accurate when you're doing a job like this. Or I take my time to do all my timing to make sure it's 100% on. I don't want to have to be replacing somebody's motor for, that type of damage. So that's the interference motor. Non-interference motor, you could break your belt on the freeway while you're driving, and you can replace a belt and not have a problem. But most foreign cars are interference. More than likely, you break a belt while you're driving it, it's gonna cause you some valve damage. So any questions? Feel free to comment below. Thank you for watching.